All right, just a quick follow-up on what's going on with OpenAI. And of course, the big news is today, which of course I think I and others expected was a likely result, is that Sam Altman is returning to OpenAI and that he has consolidated his power, essentially overthrown the board of directors in the process. And as the title of this stream is indicating, he's returned as the king with more power than ever before at OpenAI and of course globally in the artificial intelligence realm. So I wanted to give you my thoughts on whether this is good, whether this is bad for OpenAI, for Microsoft, for Sam Altman, for us as users of artificial intelligence tools. First things first, go back and look at my prior videos or all the news articles about what happened here. There's tons of information out there. Essentially, Sam Altman's run out of OpenAI. He, essentially is fired for what are still murky reasons, misalignment with the board of directors, which has got nonprofit aspirations, which is inspired by the fact that they need to protect humanity. What actually triggered the firing is still debatable. Regardless, it doesn't matter. The way that the board of directors, who were inexperienced and unsophisticated, handled the situation, caused chaos and potential destruction of what is the most important company right now in the world. So Sam Altman returns under negotiated terms, which is going to replace the board of directors, overhaul the governance structure, and consolidate his power at OpenAI. So let's talk about some of the things that are going to be important here. Number one is that recall that OpenAI was really designed as a nonprofit entity funded by Elon Musk in order to provide another avenue of AI development, which would not be commercial. So Google was developing its own AI products. Certainly Apple was as well. But Elon was very concerned that there might be an over-commercialization of AI, at least back then, and that because of the implications for mankind as a result of artificial general intelligence, AGI, which could result in robots taking over the world, or our interests as human beings being marginalized by AI tools which are sentient, that have their own self-awareness. So he funds up this nonprofit, but in order to really drive the research forward, Sam Altman and the other founders decide that they have to start a for-profit entity and fund that through traditional or semi-traditional venture capital funds in order to have the money to do the work that was required. Well, one of the early investors is Microsoft, puts in billions of dollars in order to fund the build out of the AI tool, which has become ChatGPT. So all of a sudden now we have ChatGPT, and now there's some really kind of minor commercialization going on at OpenAI, because you got to pay $20 a month in order to become a Plus member. There's an API that people are paying for tokens, and so there's revenue coming in. But of course, the number of dollars needed for this kind of project are infinite. So we see over the last 6 months an expanding effort to commercialize OpenAI's products. And that created tension internally. It created tension amongst the founders and certainly with the board. And the key players here are certainly Sam Altman, but also Elon Suskever, who is really the brains behind, I think, most of the technology that we now know as ChatGPT. And he is much more of an academic. He is much more sensitive to the fact that AGI needs to be safe, and that safety precautions have to come first, and we shouldn't be commercializing. We shouldn't be putting these products out into the wild in order to make money. We should be holding them back and making sure that they're safe before we do that. So a very worthy goal, and the initial goal of OpenAI, as expressed by Elon in this power struggle. So big step back. Who won? Well, commercialization won, Microsoft won, Sam Altman won, Elon lost, right? The board of directors, as previously constituted, lost. Safety may have lost. Commercialization may have, well, certainly has won for this next phase of OpenAI's existence. So, we've got this dynamic now of what will OpenAI become? Well, it's going to become more of a traditional for-profit venture capital funded company. And that means it's going to have a more traditional board of directors. It's going to be more profit minded. How it will keep humanity safe remains to be seen. They pitched that as a primary, Sam Altman pitched that as a primary message he was pushing out there in all of his public interactions. Yet some of the things that he was doing may or may not have validated or captured that concern in ways that other people at the company felt were appropriate. So balancing these interests, money, protection of humanity. Crazy that we're even talking about that, but that's what this technology, artificial intelligence, machine learning, these large language models have brought into the public consciousness is, can we survive AI? And how do we have private companies control AI, wanting to make a profit when there's all kinds of uses of AI that may undermine humanity, but generate tremendous profits, right? So the profit motive for capitalism has always had a level of tension with the interests of mankind, with the interests of workers, with the interests of the environment, with the interest of, of morality. If we didn't have rules and regulations, simply every company would be defrauding everyone in order to make the most money possible. They'd be dumping as much chemicals into the river as possible in order to make as much money as possible. So regulating capitalism is the thing that allows capitalism to work. And so what do we do now that we have the stakes being raised from polluting the water to survival of mankind, right? Can we risk a model called capitalism? Can we use a model called capitalism when the risk is mankind itself? Can we trust the people at these AI companies enough when the motive is profits? Because that's the way it's always been, profits. So we don't know the answer to that, but let me just say this. We allowed OpenAI to find its way to this point in history because Sam Altman projected this concern of humanity, projected the unique corporate structure of OpenAI, where investors had to sign off on any fiduciary duties owed, and the founders didn't own any stock so that they could always put humanity first. Well, that appears to be out the window at this point. So all of those, those explicit parts of this model that made us feel like, this is safe, may be gone or modified in ways that are just fundamentally different than they were yesterday. So can we still trust OpenAI? Can we still trust OpenAI? That is going to be probably the question of 2024. Whatever structure they put in place, however it is they are now going to balance profits versus humanity, right, is going to be tested. Because as of yesterday, what we saw was trust OpenAI. We trust OpenAI. They asked us to trust them. We trusted OpenAI, and the whole thing fell apart. And while Sam Altman is returning today, we didn't know what was going to happen yesterday. Could this technology have ended up finding its way into the wrong hands? Could it have been sold off for parts? Could all of the things that we thought we were protected on have been lost as a result of this attempted coup in OpenAI, where the stability of the company itself was all of a sudden put at risk, something we didn't think could happen, right? Can we trust these AI companies? Can we trust OpenAI given what has occurred over this past week? Most important question of 2024. And I will guarantee you that OpenAI is going to push hard on trying to regain trust as a primary part of its model for 2024. All right, shift gears. Let's talk about Microsoft, who I have been saying is the big winner in all of this, no matter how it turns out. Yes, they hired presumably Sam Altman. They said all of these 795% of the workers at OpenAI could come and work for Microsoft. Microsoft could have gotten access to most, if not all, of the IP as a result of essentially de facto acquisition of OpenAI. That is now apparently off the table. Does that mean Microsoft is a loser in this? No, absolutely not. Microsoft is the winner under all scenarios here, including the return of Sam Altman to OpenAI. So keep in mind, Microsoft is the largest investor, 49% in OpenAI. So the failure of OpenAI could have been a loss of that investment. Now, essentially losing that investment and then being able to go over here and say, now we have all the talent and IP directly in Microsoft, it probably would have been a multiple return on that investment. So whatever was lost over here on the OpenAI side would have been exponentially realized over here on the Microsoft side. But even though that did not occur, Microsoft is still the winner. And here's what I really think happened here. I don't think Sam Altman and Microsoft were really going to prioritize Sam and his team going to Microsoft. That was an option. But because all of the other investors, Microsoft, were so behind Sam Altman, because all the employees were so behind Sam Altman, because all the tech giants of the industry, the captains of tech, the biggest venture capitalists, all the CEOs of the largest corporations seem to be standing behind Sam Altman. He is by far the biggest winner here because his goodwill, his brand is now 1,000 times increased from where it was a week ago, because not only did people say we like Sam Altman, they put their money where their mouth was. They stood behind him publicly, not even knowing everything that was going on, not even knowing what the truth may be. It's pretty staggering to think that so many people would have publicly stood behind Sam Altman. So what did Sam and Microsoft do? Here's what I think what really happened. Sam always wanted to return to OpenAI. It is his baby, and he understands the implications are far greater than profits and losses if something bad were to happen to OpenAI, right? So what does he do? He needs to leverage up against the board that fired him. Best way to do that, work with Microsoft, who's also got an interest in seeing this thing get repaired. Goes to Microsoft, and Microsoft says, hey, let's just create leverage. We'll go ahead and hire you. We'll take in everyone that wants to come over that will give you the leverage you need to return to OpenAI under your own terms. And we may never know the exact details of what went down, but being an attorney representing companies in these types of situations before, this is the kind of backroom stuff that goes on. It's all about backroom leverage. And leverage was created. Sam used that leverage and got presumably every single thing that he wanted and needed in order to not only return to his baby, OpenAI, keep his employees safe and employed, because some of them might not have been able to go to Microsoft because of visa issues, right? But also to consolidate his power and 1,000x his power at OpenAI. And the old saying, all publicity is good publicity, or there's no such thing as bad publicity. People knew who Sam Altman was before at this level. Because of everything that's happened, again, 1,000 times more people know who Sam Altman is. His brand value as a brand has been exponentially increased as a result of all this. So let's just get to the last piece before I go off to my Thanksgiving family events here. And that is this. We as users of AI, whether or not we win or lose short-term, long-term remains to be seen. In the short term, hopefully this means that our tools that we're using day in and day out, which are mostly, especially in the business and professional use category, are driven by OpenAI, ChatGPT, and the APIs and the tools that are connected to this large language model. So we are winners in the short term. It was unclear whether or not someone might turn off ChatGPT next week if Sam had not returned. Okay, so that's good. Long term, I think we're potentially winners again, because I think Microsoft is going to also be able to get its payback for helping Sam return to power, and that is going to increase Microsoft's leverage to be able to commercialize OpenAI's IP. And so all the things that were on their wish list, all their concerns that they had about OpenAI running everything through their web app instead of allowing Microsoft to more easily integrate AI into its 365 products so that you had access to everything in a Microsoft environment, right? They're going to have more leverage on those things. And for us business users who are invested in now 365 as the back end, we're probably going to end up getting more faster, right? So the big unknown really is, as humanity, are we still going to be here in 10 years if and when AGI comes to bear? And now we've got this balance between humanity and capitalistic incentives, between humanity and money, right? That balance has shifted from humanity, money, and potentially to money, humanity. So use the tools while you can. That's my motto, right? Certainly be concerned about the broader implications, but make sure that you as a professional, as a business, are getting the most of AI tools right away, right now. You're learning how to interact with AI, because that's the skill set that's going to propel you into 2024. That's the thing that's going to set you and your business apart. That is going to separate the wheat from the chaff and allow people to really separate themselves from the herd in terms of talent, because my talent is 5x what it was before AI. Competing against other people who aren't using AI just becomes more visible, more dramatic, and you want to have those same skills as well. My name is Enrico. I'm an attorney. I am a tech attorney specializing in tech company representation. I represent AI companies. I also am a power professional using AI tools and understand those tools at a very high level. Go ahead and subscribe, share, and we'll see you in the next video.